Just like advanced warehousing configuration in Business Central, also the basic warehouse configuration can use 3 levels to configure the warehouse layout in Business Central. So the first one we already had a look at, and we're basically looking at it right now, the location. Then there are zones, and each zone can contain one or multiple bins. So the bin is the smallest level, so the smallest level of storage unit. But you can also use zones. So let's have a look, and I have opened the North warehouse, so the one that we configured with the inventory warehouse management, so the require put away, require pick, and then bin mandatory. All right, now we could start with creating bins immediately, so you don't have to use zones. So in basic warehousing, zones are not mandatory. If you would use directed put away and pick, which we refer to as advanced warehousing, then you have to use zones. But again, in basic warehousing configurations, zones are not mandatory, but they could be interesting. So let's go to zones, and basically what you can do with a zone is assign parameters, like for example the warehouse class, the zone ranking, and these parameters are copied to the bins that you create for a zone. So that could facilitate the creation of bins, make it a bit easier or a bit faster. All right, let's create some zones. So I will create a staging zone. Bin type code is displayed, but you cannot use it. So bin type code can only be used in advanced warehousing. So I will leave it blank. You could assign a warehouse class. So warehouse classes could be interesting because you can assign a condition to the zone and then also to the bins within the zone. So let's look at an example. So I will click on New. And warehouse classes are typically like, for example, cold bins, for example, frozen bins, and so on. You see, so if some of your items require specific conditions, so they must be stored in a freezer or a fridge, and then you can create warehouse classes, assign them to bins. At the same time, also assign them to items, and then Business Central will look for bins that have the same warehouse class as the item. All right. So suppose that this is cold. There we go. Then you can also set up special equipment like a lift or a hand truck, whatever. So I will leave it blank for now. And then there's also the zone ranking. Now the zone ranking could be interesting in case that you want to use bin replenishments. So that's also something that we will look at in some of the following units, because Business Central will always replenish from a lower to a higher ranking. So in this case, let's use 20. Then I will also create a bulk zone. There we go. In this case, I will use a very low ranking because we would like to replenish from bulk to, for example, pick, and that's my third zone. So the picking zone, and I will give the picking zone a higher ranking, you see. So again, you can choose any ranking that you want. Yeah, when using the ranking, try to take care of assigning a higher ranking to the picking bins, as opposed to the zone and the bins where you put away items. So that's basically how we can create zones. In the following video, we will have a look at how to create bins.